The Deputy Leader of the Opposition has the call.
My question is to the Prime Minister. This month, the Prime Minister told Ben Fordham that the Voice, quote, is not about a treaty. But in May, the Prime Minister said that treaty and truth-telling are, quote, very much part of the next phase. And one of the things that a Voice would be able to do is talk about Makarrata, the need for agreement-making and coming together after a conflict, end quote. Why did this tricky Prime Minister say one thing to one group of Australians and completely the opposite to another?
I give the order. Members on my right and left. I give the call to the Prime Minister.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. And I thank the member for her question, and I thank whoever was interjected about my T-shirt. Because, yes, Mr Speaker, Ben Fordham has exposed the fact that at a Midnight Oil concert I wore a Midnight Oil T-shirt. I know, Mr Speaker.
Order.
I know, Mr Speaker. Hold the front page. Hold the front page.
Order.
At the Oil's last ever concert, I wore an Oil's T-shirt.
How dare you?
And what I said on Ben Fordham, Mr Speaker, was that the referendum isn't about treaty and isn't about truth, it's about one thing. It's about one thing.
Order.
It is about voice, it's about recognition, and it's about listening to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people so that we get better results. That's what it's about. But the opponents of the Voice, you wonder why, because the member who asked the question said this on Insiders on the 23rd of July. She said this, firstly, 1, I want to see constitutional recognition of our first Australians. Well, we're all agreed there, Mr Speaker. So tick, tick. Tick, tick.
Order. The Prime Minister will pause. The Minister for Climate Change will cease interjecting. The Deputy Leader will be heard in silence for her point of order.
It's a point of order on relevance, Mr Speaker. There was no T-shirt in the question. There was no quote from me in the question. There were your own words, Prime Minister, in the question and your own contradiction about treaty or no treaty.
You may resume your seat. Prime Minister is referring to comments he made on the radio station, and I would suggest interjections are highly disorderly, so do not interject so the Prime Minister won't respond to the interjections. The Prime Minister has the call.
I'm speaking about what this referendum is about, and it strikes me that the opponents of the referendum, those who are advocating a no vote, want to talk about everything but what the question is about. Recognition, listening in order to get better results. That is what it is about. But the Deputy Leader went on to say this about the Voice, because she was asked, and she said this, the Voice is important in the way that it may close the gap. In a way, it may improve the lives of Indigenous people. Well, we agree with that too. So then you wonder why it is that they're not supporting it. And they come up with the idea that it's about legislation. And they say this. She said this, all legislation requires exposure drafts. That's why she said couldn't answer what the ledge was there. It requires conversations. It requires debate. I mean, it will include all the things that actually produce good legislation at the end of the process. And that's what I want to see. Well, a yes referendum will see the Voice then legislated before this parliament as a result of that good process. That's the whole point here. Those opposite so desperate to make a political point at the expense of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people, so desperate, want to talk about everything but what is in the referendum in the last quarter.
Order.